Last week, Tim and I discussed how to kick off the second draft of his murder mystery novel. Tim's first drafts have, by design, large gaps in coverage, where scenes are described rather than written. During our discussion, I recognized that Tim's first drafts are like functional outlines. My epiphany was realizing, hey, I should do that too, to get a first draft done quickly. The next day, something was nagging me, like an old song you can't quite remember. Then it dawned on me that I had already learned this lesson. I searched our refills, and there was, dated September of 2023, proof of my past epiphany. We had called the concept Draft Zero, and it was, you guessed it, a functional outline in prose form, something to loosen the gears and get you moving forward on the story. So, damn, I knew this years ago, even did a refill on it. Why didn't it stick? The old phrase, use it or lose it, comes to mind. I started listing what I did instead of novel writing in that 2+ years, and it's a long list of personal and professional accomplishments. So to be real about it, I don't feel bad having not written more of the novel. After all, you can't do everything. Rediscovering Draft Zero now, though, makes sense to me. See, on New Year's Eve, my wife and I were sleeping. My daughter was out celebrating New Year's, and at 11:50 p.m., right before the ball drop, I awoke to a rap, 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 rap that I assumed was knocking. I jumped up. I was worried my daughter was locked out of the house, and then I realized, no, dummy, that's just fireworks. So I was awake, wide awake, and made some coffee to listen to the show outside. The dog slept through it, thankfully, and I was left alone to contemplate the end of a very stressful but very prosperous year and the start of a new beginning. Before 3 a.m. on January 1st, I had made up my mind and started writing my novel's Draft Zero. Freeing is the best word I can muster. I used to feel so stifled by self-imposed constraints, which brought with them the gremlins of negative self-talk like, the prose is not good enough, Art, or where's this going, Art? Or you will never succeed, loser. But in Draft Zero, the negative self-talk kind of melts away. Draft Zero makes the work more fun and thus more achievable, and that is the magic potion I've always needed. Let's be clear, the draft itself, what little I have of it, is unpublishable. But that is kind of the point. Draft Zero frees me from assuming I have to be able to envision all the characters, the whole plot, every thematic point of the narrative, all at the same time in my head before I write a word. It makes sense why I couldn't do that before, because no one can do that. The bar was too high. An Olympian couldn't clear it. So let's catalog the Draft Zero process I will use in 2026. Maybe it will align with your current process, or maybe it will inspire you to take a fresh stab at your next draft. Here goes. Number 1, set office hours. Rather than choose an arbitrary daily word count, I set a length of time each day to write. I seem to do my best work in the early morning, so 5 to 6:30 a.m. is my latest sweet spot. 90 minutes equals about 1,000 words most days, but it doesn't really matter. As long as I stick to my office hours, I am making progress. 2, embrace the ugly. The output of Draft Zero is best described as deliberately inconsistent. The goal is not to write poorly or perfectly. The goal is not to only write scenes or strictly character studies or only outlining. The goal is to do the best work you can on that day, whatever that work is. Some days that might be a well-written scene. Other days it might be a character sketch or a brief description of a sequence of scenes, like, here's what goes in this spot. By embracing an ugly draft, I can just focus on being productive without editorial judgment. Number 3, reject editing. It is so tempting to stop and refine the work. This is especially challenging when I reread the previous day's work. Ooh, I want to change it so bad. But if I start tinkering with the language, I've lost my forward momentum. Sure, maybe that scene comes out better, but the rest of the manuscript still doesn't exist. Which brings us to our final point. Number 4, finish the narrative. The purpose of Draft Zero is to finish the manuscript. The longer that takes, the less likely it will happen. There is great value in drafting quickly, keeping that same mindset or perspective throughout the book. When we stop writing, we risk losing the thread of the narrative and ultimately losing momentum. Finish it first. then come back for drafts 1, 2, 3, and beyond to refine and polish. It all sounds good, right? Tough part is doing it. In 2026, so far, I am doing it. If I can do it, you can too. See you next week. Start writing.